I have a lot of food memories wrapped up in my life. Sweets that my mom would make, savory meals that she would make. And I love revisiting some of these old recipes. In this case, I asked my mom for this recipe specifically. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, so what's better than Mrs. Minnesota's date cake? Now, this uses dates as the fruit in it, and it is not a fruit cake. It is amazingly light and delicious. You won't even know the dates are in there, but they add a moisture and a texture to this dish that's just amazing. As a child, of course, it has plenty of sugar and chocolate to keep a growing boy happy. It also has nuts on top. You can omit those. I don't recommend that you do because they're delicious. And it uses shortening instead of butter. And before you freak out about shortening, it says right here on the front, 50% less saturated fat than butter and 0 trans fats per serving. So what could possibly go wrong? Well, that's listed on the back. It says, warning, shortening will catch fire if overheated. Do make sure that you heat it carefully. Do not leave it unattended. Do not refill the can with hot shortening. In other words, treat it like napalm. It may be napalm, but it makes delicious dessert treats. So I'm going to put all this stuff together into a wonderful Valentine's Day dessert, and I hope you'll join me. All right, we're going to start by cutting up the dates. Just cut them down lengthwise. They're already pitted, and this sort of makes sure that there's no extra stuff. And that's a cup of dates that we're going to put into a bowl. And to that, we're going to treat these dates with a bath of boiling water and baking powder, baking soda. We're not using baking powder in this recipe. So I'm just going to do 1.5 cups here of water, dissolve the baking soda into the water, and then pour it over the top of the dates. And we're just going to let that cool. And that's all there is for that step. Once this is cool, then we can get on with the rest of the recipe. Cooking with baking soda, it's a chemical reaction instead of like yeast where the yeast are actually giving off the carbon dioxide. In this case, the carbon dioxide is coming from the baking soda. So it's best to have fresh baking soda. If you have old baking soda, put it in your fridge. It'll soak up all the odors in your fridge. But make sure that your baking soda is fresh and then have everything prepped. So once you mix it, you can get it in the pan and get it into your preheated oven. And so that's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to take my 1/2 cup of shortening, put it in my mixer bowl, and I'm going to put in my sugar, and we're going to get it started. We're just going to cream these together. And I use a little beater bar that's not terribly efficient at doing this. So I take it a couple steps at a time and kind of get it there. But once it starts creaming, it will just sort of mash the sugar into the shortening, and it'll kind of get like granular and bunched up, and that's okay. That's what we're looking for, is we just want to cream those guys together. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to knock it off the beater bars one more time. Make sure everything is down in the bowl. And this is really easy. This is the easiest part, because we're just going to combine all these ingredients except for the topping. Once that's together, we're going to add the eggs, the dates, the flour, the baking soda, salt, and we're going to get it all blended in the same bowl. So I'm going to add my eggs. I'm going to add the date mixture, which is the dates that we put into our water with the baking soda. All of that goes together. We'll just give that a quick little mix. Going to mix in salt and a little bit more baking soda, and then 2 cups of flour. So right now that's just kind of a big slurry in there, but I'm just going to lump in 2 level cups of flour. And we're going to mix all that together just like this. Now it's a batter, so it's going to be a little loose. It's going to go into a 9 by 13 pan. And so once it just looks like that, I'm just going to knock the flour off the sides and put it through one more time. And that's about it. So I'm just going to check my recipe one more time and make sure I got everything. I got the shortening, I got the eggs, I got the dates, I got the flour, I got the baking soda, I got the salt. So all of that is going to go into my freshly greased 9x13 pan. So get that all clean and into the pan. We've got our oven preheated. I'm just going to sort of level that out like that. Okay, then the topping, the original recipe called for the old Toll House morsels. Start with my sugar. Called for the Toll House morsels. I like the dark chocolate ones you can get now, so that's the only concession to modern cooking that I made is I put on the dark chocolate morsels because I like those better. But we're just sprinkling sugar over the top of this, trying to keep it nice and even. If you don't put the sugar on evenly, it'll be these kind of islands of white, which is okay. It doesn't hurt, but just try to get it all on here nice and even. Just like that. And the sugar is going to make a crunchy topping, kind of like a brulee. And then I'm using walnuts here. You can use pecans or whatever your favorite nuts are. Just keep it nice and even over the top. Just like that. That's it. It's going to go in the oven just like that. 325 for about 35 to 45 minutes. And we'll pull that out when we're done, and I'll show you what it looks like. Thanks. So if the toothpick comes out clean, it means it's done, and this one did. So it cooks differently. Last time I did this, I had to throw an extra 5 minutes on it. So 35 to 45 is usually the way to go. And that is all done. Okay, so we've got it cooled. I'm just going to cut into it, kind of free it from the sides here, and scoop out. The first one's always sort of sacrificial, so that's going to go to the chef. There we go. Oh, chocolate is all melted. It's beautiful. Topping is crunchy. I like to serve it with just a little bit of whipped cream on the side. And so it's chocolatey, it's moist, it's just super. It smells really good too. Very light. The nuts, the chocolate. It's just Valentine's Day all over. Give this a try. It's an old recipe, but man, is it good. I love you guys.